to it. So module, what are we? 6.2. Hello, live Q&A. So far just with Lika. So whoever joins us will just need to catch up when we get into it. How have you been, darling?
Yeah, I'm good. It's been up and down, but that's sometimes you have that. But I've been good, and yeah, the money stuff was coming together, and now with the new, yeah, like the effectiveness, and it's so good that we do it now, and not like you said in the beginning. And it's really anchoring again. And there was some stuff that I know I kind of did before, but still just go over it again and integrate it. So good. Yes.
Yeah. And it is really important to come at it from that alignment comes first, because if we miss that step, then it's very easy to just, be very sort of very masculine about it and be really into a push, and then it can become draining. And we want to achieve the opposite, obviously. Yes. So, yeah, that's good. And how are you feeling? Hi, Layla. How are you feeling about have you got a job, or you decided to get a job? I wasn't totally clear.
I decided
you said you're going to get a part-time job.
That was more the thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Also because of the money stuff and we were going through, and it's more also for myself. I feel like this whole journey is also about a lot of responsibility, right? And just your ownership. Mm-hmm. I feel like I just want to step it up that way.
Nice.
Instead of always like unknown and not knowing what next and having all that pressure on one, one thing. I just thought I need to open a bit more doors, and also for me to to get a bit to know more businesses in the area and stuff like that. So it's good to put myself out there in other ways.
I think it's a really smart move.
Yeah, it feels good. It feels it in the beginning. It felt it always feels a bit like, oh no, I don't really want to do it. You want your business to be like but it's like it's just an ongoing journey, and it's a good thing for me to do now.
I think it's really smart if you can build your business while you've still got something else as a base. It takes so much pressure off. It lets you kind of there's still a process involved where you kind of find your way and figure out exactly what your thing is, and you build momentum. You get to a critical mass where the momentum just builds, and then you go, actually, now I cannot do anything else anymore. Sure, and same happened for Layla, same happened for me, because I was, it was only last year that I went, I have to go full-time in this business. It needs me, and if I don't, I know it'll suffer and it will, won't be able to grow.
Yeah.
But I was still working in the finance business, and it's a really great way to do it if you can.
Yeah,
sometimes we don't get the luxury.
Yeah, that's true. And I had that luxury for a while, but now we're like, no, we want to travel more, I want to go back home more often, and then it's a waste of time. Then I'm just sitting here Facebooking.
And it makes you not enjoy your business, and so energetically, it's
at one point you get a bit like, that's not. And that the fun thing is, yesterday I had a lunch, and today I was just at the hairdresser, and then they all asked me, because they're both startups in business, and they asked me, oh, how did you do in the beginning, and how did you do, because I have a finance background, and now okay, now it seems like everyone is asking me about startup businesses, so that might be
yeah, like you said, you're opening doors.
Yes.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah.
Hey ladies, how are you both doing? Good. Take a quick moment to do a bit of a grounding. I'm feeling pretty grounded, but let's do it, because it's a lovely thing to do. So just get yourselves nice and comfortable, and if you've got your feet near the floor, just feel them there. Feel your sitting bones, and just notice your body taking up the space. And feel how comfortable that feels, how natural, and just easing into it a little bit more with your next breath. Just being. And now just take a nice, slow, deliberate breath in all the way from the base of your feet. Just allowing it to dance its way up through your body. Feeling how easy and effortless that is. So you don't really need to breathe deliberately, it just happens. But there's a pleasure to doing it consciously with intention. noticing it filling up your entire body. And when you get to the top of the breath, just enjoy that momentary pause, that magic moment. And when you're ready, letting it all go. Noticing how you're taking up your space now even more comfortably, with an even deeper sense of belonging. And just another conscious, slow breath in. Feeling it dancing its way up through your body. Filling every single cell, oxygenating all of you, bringing life, new energy. Enjoying that pause at the top of the breath, that moment of silence. And then letting it go. And just noticing how with just a couple of conscious breaths, you're so much more present. And that this is something you can easily and effortlessly do any time of day as you go through your work, whether it's home or business. Just bringing yourself back to the here and now. The breath is always there, which means you can connect to it easily, effortlessly. Bring all the pieces of you back together, feeling more aligned, more centered, which means everything can flow to you and through you even more effortlessly. And just take a deep breath in and bring yourself all the way back into your body and all the way back into the room as Jennifer Lang joins us, fresh out of bed. Well, actually it'd be really early. What time is it there again now? Like 4 a.m. or something?
Hello.
Cool. Oh, she's seeing red. Hello, honey.
It's 4:15.
My goodness. Did you wake up naturally?
I'd like to say yes, but no. But I do anticipate the call, so I wake up. I think I sleep quite lightly, and I set the alarm for 4, so it's not a total through 3:45, so it's not a complete shocker.
Yeah. So you're actually already able to speak. You're amazing.
Yes, it's shocking. But yes. I'll have a nap later.
Yeah, fair enough.
I've got a nap scheduled for 2 from 2 until 4 this afternoon.
Cool. Wow. All right. What I might do is I'm just going to swing it backwards to how we usually do things. I want to do a really fast recap of the lesson. Put your hand up if you haven't even listened to the lesson yet for this module 6.2. No? Oh, awesome. Sort of half-half? Okay, cool. So I'll do a super quick recap, and then I just want to go around and we'll do, general or specific to this, but I want to do a bit of brainstorming around this stuff because a lot of this stuff will, it'll be a little bit of a work in progress. And I mean, really everything we do is a work in progress, but you need to kind of be a little bit more mindful of it's like a little project, some of it that you need to get done. So just super quick recap of the previous lesson, which sets us up for this lesson. So we're kind of starting at the very top and then we're starting to chunk it down. So in the first lesson of this module, it was about those core principles, to basically address the question of how do I get everything done without wearing myself out? And yeah, it is, you do get so much more out of it when you attend live, Jen, totally. Watching it back afterwards is just not the same. And so there were just the main principles to keep in mind, right? Which is to remember that we have limited willpower. Actually, we have very little willpower, and even that is questionable whether it's such a good idea to use a lot of it, because as you know, what you resist persists, and if you keep trying to force something, you're actually creating more resistance. And we also have limited ability to focus. It's like your brain's got a tank each day, and that's kind of what it has available. And so you really need to become more mindful of what you spend that fuel on each day. Always remembering that your power is in your alignment. So everything we've done to date, still applies, and even more so at a time where you really look at structuring your time and getting smarter with it, because you don't want to fall into the trap of, suddenly getting into this push stress zone. And so I'll just keep reminding you of that. And, so always get in alignment first. If it starts feeling like you're pushing, like it's too hard, step back, do a heart coherence. It takes you 2-3 minutes, you're done. You've kind of pulled yourself back in alignment. Just remembering that time is actually relative. It's an illusion, so that I like that mantra of time expands for me that Charlene shared with us at the event. It's just really powerful. And it does. We all know it does. I always remember when I worked out of the office, particularly in the finance business, because I wasn't really loving a lot of what I had to do each day dealing with banks. It'd be like, no, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. And then it'd be the 20 minutes before I had to go for school pickup, and oh my God, I got a lot of shit done, so amazing. Like I would just power through, and that would be like my most productive time of day. So Parkinson's law, applies. You take the amount of time that's available to do a task. So it's up to you to actually assign your time to what's going to serve you best. And, most of all, you need to protect the golden goose, because we have limited ability to focus, because we have limited energy in the day, because we want to stay in alignment. It's about, setting those boundaries to keep you as energized and as aligned as possible. So protecting the golden goose, we sort of, you all did awesome jobs of all your lists and things, but it's looking at what are the things that keep my energy up, my morning routines, my happy habits, and the little things that top me up during the day. But then also looking at what I call the rules of the game, which is actually about setting boundaries so that you're not overextending and giving and draining yourself. So, for me, it's how many nights a week I'm willing to leave the house, because just it drains me, going out at night, or breakfast meetings. I don't think I do any. Like my quota is 0 for those things right now. And but we can go through stages where we think we have to. And it's like, oh, I have, but I need to, but it's smart. Oh, but it's my business, but it's a networking thing. And next thing you know, like your energy's in the toilet and nothing's happening, nothing's flowing. So it's not about having, like really restrictive rules that you have to live by, but it's about sitting down, actually thinking about what is good for me, what are my general limits, what should I try to stick to, and just keeping it in mind. And yeah, sometimes you'll go over, maybe a lot of the time you'll go under, but at least spending the time to actually sit and really think about it, rather than just doing and then going, oh, I'm so tired and I can't get anything done. So all of that, you guys, I think you really got the hang of that really easily and understand what it's all about. And remember, there's 2 meditations that are really helpful in that module too. And then this lesson 6.2, we're starting to get even more practical. So it's about setting up a structure that gives you the freedom to live the life that you want to live. So it's like you're building the house and then you're laying out your rooms, and that's my workroom, that's my playroom, and you're defining what's going to work for you. And it's about how do I get the important things done more easily and more effectively. So there were really 4 things we worked on, bearing in mind that the structure is there to protect your freedom. So it's your structure, you get to set it up, remembering that what seems urgent isn't necessarily important, because usually it's somebody else's emergency, right? And really starting to look at defining what is work time, what is play time, what is family time, what's downtime, and having ways that you can both, switch your mind in and out of those zones, and not constantly be switching backwards and forwards, and also not having your whole day turn into this blah of, you're at work, but you're thinking about the kids, or you think about home stuff, and you're at home, trying to relax with your partner or play with your kids, and your mind is on your work stuff and you're not even paying attention to them. So we want to actually, give you quality of life by being really present in your business when you're working, and being really present with your family when you're with them. Right? Yeah. Well, we're getting into it in this lesson, Jen, so we're setting up that structure even more, defining clearer definitions of time. So, and also just being aware that every time you switch tasks, there's this attention residue effect. A little bit of your brain is kind of lagging behind. And if you're doing too many things at the same time, you're trying to light up too many parts of your brain all at once. And it's like, my analogy is too many tabs open on the computer. And, if you overdo that, sometimes it just freezes and shuts the whole thing down. So just being aware that multitasking honestly doesn't work. It's just the art of distracting yourself from more than one thing by doing them at the same time. And it it uses up a whole lot of energy and it makes everything take longer. And I talk about it in the lesson that, you know, only 2% of the population can actually multitask without loss of performance. But the people who think they're good at multitasking, when tested, turn out to be the ones who suck the most. So don't think, no, I'm really good at it, because the thing is, it feels good because it gives you little hits of satisfaction and it makes life more interesting when you're like flitting from, you know, it's a bit exciting and keeps up the variety of life when you're moving from one to the next. So it feels like you're doing a lot. But, you know, chances are that if we put you in a lab and actually test you, you're going to bomb out, because 98% of us do. And the ones of us who think we're really good at it are usually the ones who suck the most. So, and you're not going to lose performance by refusing to multitask, even if you can multitask. So, you know, err on the side of caution, and let's just go with let's assume I'm a 98%er. All right, so there's 4 things in this lesson. Number 1, yeah, Lika, I love that quote, like multitasking is the art of distracting yourself from 2 things you'd rather not be doing by doing them at the same time. I was listening to it while walking and instantly ended the recording. I want to walk now. Yeah, and be really present and get the most out of it, you know. And that's, you know, that's something where you kind of can walk and listen to something. But again, you're not fully, you know, you're not enjoying your walk. I mean, your body's getting the workout, but your mind's not, because your mind is on the lesson. But if you're in front of your computer and you're trying to listen to a lesson while reading your emails, you know, that's just a disaster. So did anyone try the little challenge I set you in the lesson? You can just unmute yourselves, by the way, because it's only 4 of you. Did anyone try where you write out the letters and the numbers and then the letters separately, yeah, and then you do it and you go 1A, 2B, yeah. 3. How did you go?
Horrible.
Yeah, it's horrible, isn't it? You just go, oh my God. It's not hard because you've got the previous letter there and you know what's next.
Yeah, and it really was like you said. I constantly noticed the switch all the time. Oh, you know, so you're constantly switching one thing to the other.
Yeah.
So and the timing was horrible. It took me twice as long. So it's just, don't do it again.
Yeah. And did anyone else try it? No. It'll take you a couple minutes, and it's a really good, like, you just actually feel it. Like, you literally feel your brain going, oh, hang on, but I thought we were doing this and I thought we were doing that. And I know that exercise kind of, thanks, Lika, you've got very loud. Is that galahs?
Birds at some point.
Yeah.
Birds.
Yeah. They're very shrieky. And I know that exercise amplifies the effect a little bit because you're switching backwards and forwards so often, but it makes you really feel it. And if you think about, okay, well, you know, how often am I in the middle of a project kind of thing, especially something, you know, that's going to take me a little bit longer, that maybe is a little bit boring, and I go, oh, I'll just quickly check Facebook because this page is loading slowly. Or, you know, like, that's my thing. If a page loads, my son cannot believe how impatient I can be. He's like, Mum, it's been 5 seconds, just relax. I'm like, trying a different tab, and he's like, yeah, he can't handle it. And he would laugh at me because I used to, if we're running a little bit late for morning school run, and it was like, oh shit, I left my phone or I left my glasses or something, and I'd have to run back in the house, I would run. And he goes, what difference is running like the 15 meters going to make? Honestly, we're late now, just relax. I'm like, wow, where do you get this from? Whereas I'm like, oh my God. So, you know, this stuff's not natural to me. I have to really force myself. And it's so good having someone like that in my life who's just, you know, I cannot make him speed up. Like, he knows he's late for school. He does want to be on time, but like, he still does things at his pace. And he's never late, and he always gets everything done. He's only late when I make him late. So, yeah, it's funny, but the running around. And yes, so see, I distracted myself, damn it. So if that exercise amplifies the effect a little bit, but you feel it. And if you think about, okay, all day long, if I'm doing that, you know, that's costing me energy and it's costing me time, and I'm not getting the stuff done that I need to get done. And then I also feel annoyed and frustrated, and, you know, it just builds up and stuff keeps sitting on my to-do list week after week after week that I actually know is important, I should be getting done. So just little tweaks make such a huge difference. And not only do you actually get more done, but you feel more relaxed and you get the satisfaction. It's like, wow, why don't I do this all the time? And, you know, I personally also, like, I fall off the wagon and then I go, oh, I haven't been like sticking to my structure. That's why the to-do list just keeps growing and I'm getting frustrated and tired. So, you know, it's really important to keep reminding each other and yourself and having as much of a system in place that keeps you on track, because this is about, it's not about time management, it's self-management. That's the key to time management. Yeah. Cool. So, yeah, go, Linda, because you're nodding a lot there. And when you're a mum, it feels even, you know, it makes it even more.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I thought about it after having listened, and like, especially around the dinner time, like that's my time where, you know, often I'll have something on the stove, and then with the leftovers I'll be putting something, you know, in the crock pot to cook overnight. At the same time, Josh is in the kitchen reading me a story. At the same time, I'm packing lunches for the next day. At the same time, I've got the dish full of stuff that I'm trying to wash up. And it just, there's so often that kitchen is just a complete disaster zone, because there's all these things that are half sort of done, because halfway through that, trying to do all that at once, you know, one of the boys will need me or something like that. So yeah, like I know that it's my habit and it's not a happy habit. And I'm, yeah, like you, get impatient with a page waiting to load, or with a video that's you know, converting or something like that.
Yep.
And so it takes a lot of, interestingly, a lot of willpower
Yeah.
to start to try to shift those a little bit. I mean, it's definitely so much better than it was, and it's improving every day. It's just so interesting to think about, especially in that kitchen time and dinner time, where I am literally trying to do a lot.
Yes.
A lot.
And that's really one of the worst places for it, because things can go off the rails really quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, next thing you know, you've burnt dinner or you've dropped the pot or...
Yeah. And that's also when the kids often need me, when they're tired at the end of the day, or just, that sort of thing. So.
And with the computer, like the loading thing, the interesting thing is, you know, something's taking too long to load, which means your computer like is being stretched. And so then we give it something else to do as well.
Yeah.
And we do the same to our brains. You know, is that like, that just slows everything down even more. Then we're doing two things at the same time, even more slowly than we were doing the one thing before. And it's just insane when you actually stop to think about it sometimes. So so it's about looking at these sorts of things and going, okay, well, how can I be smarter with that? You know, how can I start segregating and being more focused, so that I do one thing at a time and I'm fully focused and it actually gets done so much faster. And then I switch to the next one and the next one. So have you got some ideas on how you can manage that better? And I think particularly the cooking and kids thing. And I know it's hard when they go, Mum, I need you now. Have you got any ideas?
It's certainly a lot about my organisation and preparation beforehand. Like I know for me now, even just that small change in the last couple of months, when I've got a bag of rice, I cook up the whole bag and then just freeze portions of it. And it only sounds like rice. However, it's made such a difference just to be able to get out that bag, put it on the bench for the day, chuck it in the pan. You know, like that's my go-to, sort of rice in the pan with some eggs and veg, and they gobble it down. So it's easy. Definitely about that organisation preparation, which is, you know, going back to, you know, who I have to sort of be. And like,
because the
bee do have sort of.
They do have. I have to be organised, Mum, if I'm going to be calm, Mum.
Yes.
And then that means that, and then if you can think of ways to kind of help the boys understand that I want to actually sit with you for you to read me your story so I can really pay attention.
Yeah, which we often do. I mean, this was just one crazy example.
But it happens, I mean, I remember it well as well. You don't actually forget those times when your kids were little and life was insane. And I was going to say, it is a lot about just taking the time to sit back and go, okay, how can I be more organized? How can I prepare better? If cooking a big meal from scratch at a time when the kids are tired is a recipe for disaster, well, how can I maybe cook more? When is a good time? Like, is it weekend mornings when they're still kind of around in their pajamas and maybe they're watching cartoons or something? Can I do some batch cooking then, smash out, a couple of big pots, freeze a whole lot of stuff. Hey, presto, because they're calm, they're maybe busy.
It's definitely about, what works quite well is getting one to help and the other one to sort of just do their thing and chill out instead of trying to get them to play side by side, because, I mean, Alex would help me
divide and conquer.
Help me cook every single time. Alex is just, he was using knives very proficiently at 2, and it sounds awesome. Crazy, but he's...
Yeah, that's cool.
So I think in the past, and just like this is just more of a reflection than sort of dragging it up or going back, I felt pressure to be organised because I felt like it's been against the grain or against the flow. But that's been a very limiting belief for me, which is now so much easier to...
Yeah. See, it's that structure that gives you the freedom to then be in the moment. Because sometimes we're I just want to be in the flow, which means I just want to react to what's ever in front of me. I don't want to have to think about it. Yeah. But it then doesn't give us that ability to actually be in the moment and enjoy it. And there's nothing worse than sitting back and going, oh my God, my kid feels like I'm not listening to them.
Yes.
Like I when my daughter says, Mum, we did have a conversation about this and I told you all about it. Or I go, sorry, when are you next working again? Like, I don't even know where she is. That's not good. Yeah. So,
And they've each got different tasks that they like to do. Like Alex loves the kitchen. Josh loves to help me put away washing. That's his favourite thing.
They've got all their little chores assigned to what they love to do.
Yeah, so
it's super cool. Yeah. So when you look at especially things like cooking, so one of the 4 things that we're looking at doing this week is batching. So things like cooking, like you say, cook the whole bag. Like, it's a simple little thing, but it makes a difference to your life. So don't discount the little things, like to everyone. It's those little things, why don't I just cook the whole bag of rice and freeze them? And I know it's, it's one less pot to wash. It's one less thing to put on. It's just all ready to go. So I want to hear from you guys, like, what kind of things have you looked at and gone, actually, I don't need to do that 100 times a day or a week or even 3 times a week. I can batch that together. I gave you some examples in the lesson, like, emails, and Facebook, blah, 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 even the post box, if you have a post box to go to. Like, we used to go every single day when we drove to work, and we would stop at the post office and check the post box. And it was just a habit. And often we would both do it. And sometimes I would get there before they'd finished sorting the mail and I would still do it. And I'm like, why am I doing that? And it's like, because it felt nice. It's another little outing. It's like a little bit of delay and distract before I have to actually sit at my desk and do my work. And, then when I wrote my book is when I had to get really serious about implementing all this stuff. And one of the other things I've given you in this lesson is to look at what would be an ideal week calendar. And I've shared mine with you from that time. And, just actually looking at, okay, what do I need to get done? When am I going to get it done? When am I giving myself space to do, the fun stuff, the self-care, or my golden goose activities? And, how much of all of that do I need? And actually looking at your calendar and working out when is the optimum time for you, when is the best time for you to work on certain tasks, and when's the best time for you to be having downtime. So that's the second activity, and then the Pareto's analysis, which Leanne is smashing. Have you seen her little post that she put up? She's got she's tracking 15-minute increments all day long. She's got it all color coded and whatever, because I said literally just do a little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, on a piece of paper if you need to. It doesn't matter. Just kind of note down all the things you do each day in your business and do a Pareto's analysis. So look at, how much time are you spending on all those things, and then look at that versus how much benefit you actually get from it, because often we're really good at spending a lot of time on the stuff that doesn't actually make stuff all difference. That makes stuff all different. Sorry, not a double negative. So Pareto's analysis was the third thing. And then just something really simple that is very powerful is a little ritual for the start of your work time and the end of your work time. So, to me, it's this little baby. This little baby gets, it's my singing bowl, sorry. This little baby is my little gong that, I have my little opening the day routine, and it's work time. And one little thing I added is I've got just a little post-it, little skinny post-it, and one says work time, and I get that one out and I stick it on my screen. And then when it's, work day's over and I've gong it again, I switch them over and I stick this one on my computer screen. I'm like, see ya. And, it's just a really powerful little anchor to set up for your mind to help it to go, all right, that's it. Work's done. I'm actually allowed to switch off. I've been totally focused on work, being really effective, gotten heaps of good stuff done. And now it's time for my brain to just unwind, for me to be really present with my family and to go and enjoy myself. They make their own breakfast. Yay! I like that. All right. So, sorry, I missed Karen's message. Hi, Karen, by the way, and Sammy. I've just changed my pet feeding regime. I prepare and batch chopped up dog roll for the whole week. Ready? Yeah, so easy. So easy. Just do it once. And sometimes we just mindlessly do stuff. So let's go through those in order and just have a little bit of a chat. So batching, who's had some thoughts about batching, or who needs a hand with batching? Who's not got a clue? I don't really care. Who wants to go first? Just hit the unmute button and go,
hello.
Me. Hi, Lika.
Yeah. It was for me an insight for two things. For the stuff I do in the house, I loved your comment about washing. I noticed that as well. Yeah. I always do cleaning on Monday, but now that I integrate my washing as well, and you have it done in the evening, and the kids help me with sorting out socks and stuff like that, it's just all sorted for the whole week. So that was a thing that was helpful for me. And also I'm now more just typing the emails, and post and content. It's just a waste of my energy to keep doing that randomly. It is. And we share that with Linda. I feel I'm getting stripped naked with you, with all this stuff. Okay, now there's no excuses anymore, right?
Sorry, darling. But you're in a very safe place, and no naked photos of you will ever make it outside of this group.
But it's more no excuses anymore. Now I know how to do it. I know how to deal with time. I know how to deal with money. I know how to batch. So, no way back.
And you know how to stay in alignment, and you know how to knock out the gremlins.
Yes, yeah. So batching is the next step to make it even more organized and have more me time. Yeah,
it's so fun actually, because there's all these little wastes of your day all the time, right? Yeah, and you're just getting rid of them, and you're freeing up so much of your time. And
I felt the same like you said. I always think, flow, just let it all go, and it's way more freedom and structure.
Because what happens is your time flows away and disappears.
It's gone.
And
it's really gone.
When you said cleaning just then, I thought, I remember when I used to clean my house, and I hate doing it all in one hit, and I would do the bathrooms on Mondays and the floors, and it meant my house never actually felt nicely clean. So my solution was get a cleaner.
Yeah. I will definitely do that.
That is the best batch of all.
Yes.
Just outsource it.
Definitely. That's with my new job. I will do that as priority.
It actually gives you back so much time. A cleaner was the very first thing that I got myself as soon as I could possibly afford it.
Definitely.
It came ahead of a whole lot of other stuff. because otherwise it's just a constant never ending thing. So, and she only needs to come once a fortnight, and I just do a little, if my bathroom floor gets too much hair on it, I just get out the dust buster thing. That's it, done. That's it, and done. Really, yeah. So
and, the thing was that with that 80-20 parrot, that what for me was an insight is that because I don't, especially now in my business, I don't really have the best system for marketing and how to get my clients in, that I just keep thinking, oh, do I need to do more? So that's where I need a bit more structure around, so I can really say like, okay, this is the end of the workday and now I'm ready for the next thing. Otherwise you keep constantly going back to do more.
Yeah, and what the Pareto's analysis will help you do, and there's a few different ways you can approach it. Like you can, in terms of what generates the income, ideally you actually want to look at exactly where have your clients come from, because you should know that stuff in your business anyway. Even when like I do a launch, I was lazy about it in the beginning, but my business has really accelerated since I started looking at the numbers, and I get my VA to do it, so because it bores me, but just pulling up like those people that registered for Magnetic Money, for example, where did they come from? What countries are they from? Because I'm running ads. Like, is it a waste of money for me to be doing ads to the US? And did most of them do the 5-day challenge, or did some of them only do the webinar? Like, stuff like that. And just so that you understand next time where to put your resources and where to increase your resources and where to decrease your resources. So, you can, for example, like now I'm running Facebook ads more and more because I'm at that stage where I'd rather spend money than more time. Yes. But I had exactly the same budget, and I just did that with a couple of things, and it doubled the outcome. So that's the power in it. And so, you might say, oh yeah, but that's okay because you're running Facebook ads and I can't do that yet. But the same applies to, is it really worth you posting in 10, 12 groups or however many you're in? I did the same with groups. I was like, actually, that's all, they're nice people, but it's not generating me business. So if I want to be there, that's a personal time thing if I choose to be there.
Yeah, true.
And in terms of business, these are the groups I'm focusing on. And, because it was at the point where I would get to the end of the day and go, I haven't been in my own group today because I've just been manically trying to be everywhere else. And you just look at, okay, what's actually giving me the result? And then you don't need to do more. You just need to do more of the good stuff, the stuff that's actually making a difference, and then you can do less of the other stuff. And because it's 80-20, hang on, I've got to do the numbers. I've got this written down somewhere. Because it's 80-20, if you up the 20%, the amount of time you spend on it, right, that gives you 60% improvement, and you can drop the other stuff down by half, and so you actually spend less time and you've increased your outcome by 50%.
That's insane. Yeah.
Just by knowing what's actually worthwhile. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Definitely. I was impressed with it as well.
Yeah, it's very, very powerful. So I was so excited when I saw Lee just like dive into it and do that. I'm like, wow. Cool. So that's batching. So do you need any other help or ideas with batching? Like anything around work or other
for myself
stuff?
No, it's more the main insight for me is that I'm doing a lot of stuff online now and marketing, and it's just not getting me any clients at all. So it was more an insight, okay, I have to go through that again, and go back to maybe previous lessons with vision and what I really want to focus on, because now it's just actually it's kind of waste of time. Now it's not really waste of time, but not generating me any income. So that's and I love.
Yep, go on. Sorry.
No, you first.
I was just going to say, and look at where the clients you have come from.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, but that was a bit my thing. They mainly come from when I was in the place. Oh, everyone can be a client, but then I was hanging out with everyone the whole time, and I didn't feel like if I go to a party or somewhere, I was always thinking about where she might be a client and she might be a client. So that was exhausting.
It is exhausting. That's trying to do it from everywhere. So, but you can still look back and go, okay, which ones are the ones I actually do want to work with?
Yes. Yeah, and I had a coffee with her yesterday.
You know, because that's the 80-20 rule on your
True.
clients again.
Yeah.
There's, you know, there's 20% of the people you work with that are just right and perfect, you know, and that actually always applies, you know, even with like this program, there's 20 of you in here, and how many are on the call? You know, and I know people have got other schedules and whatever, but there's always that distribution in every facet of life. So
true.
So you were going to say, and one of them what?
The one that my ideal client, I had a really good, she was really good. I had a coffee with yesterday, and her main thing said, I trusted you, you were friendly, and I know you could help me. And that's the thing. I think because I'm pretty outgoing, it might be good for me to just go, you know, more face to face, go back to that, but then make a good strategy around it, so it won't be like all over the place anymore. Yeah,
and then you can start looking. Okay, and those people, where do they hang out online? If I want to leverage, and get that bigger reach, you know, where do they hang out? Maybe my ideal client's more a Instagram person or a LinkedIn person, or maybe they love reading blogs or listening to podcasts, you know, because you can't do all those things. Awesome.
Yeah.
And have you looked at the ideal week thing? Because especially if you're going to get a part-time job as well, you're going to have to really be very smart with your time.
Yes. No, not yet. I have it in my mind, and I already had one, but now I will change it with a new structure.
Nice.
That feels good to do the alignment.
Let us know if you need a hand when you get to that.
Yes, I will. I will post it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So sounds like you're doing pretty good. Have you thought about an opening and closing routine for?
No, because I feel that was my thing. I don't really have an ending thing. So no, I will put that in place.
Yeah. All right. Let us know what it is when you come up with it. Yeah, Karen, you're forgiven. You're always there. You don't have to apologize. There's so much guilt around when people don't keep up with the program. That's what lifetime. So Karen just said in the chat box, I do feel a little guilty that my studies take time. That's why I haven't run with Magnetic Money, as I want to commit more. Well, right now that's, you know, that is taking your time, and you're in Magnetic Money. You've done it before, and it, you know, you get to do the next live round if that suits better, or the one after. So it's not like you just signed up this week and you realize you're not going to do it. Be kind to yourself. All right. Who else? Because I want to hear all your ideas on batching and on opening, closing rituals. And, you know, we can just have a chat about Pareto's and Ideal Week and just check in that you're on it. Hello, Sammy.
I'm not in this lesson yet.
That's okay.
I didn't do this. I'm still in the golden goose. Yeah.
That's cool. So we're talking about batching, right? Things that you do that are being kind of spread and sprayed all over the week that you can bring together and do in batches, so that you don't waste so much time on switching backwards and forwards between things. So have you got some ideas?
No, not yet. I just got some ideas for my golden goose.
Good.
You know, like, for example, today on Friday, it's going to be just for me. Well, kind of just for me, you know. And I said, okay, I go to the supermarket. And it was good because I went to the supermarket and have no parking, because I was thinking the call would be at 1 today. And then I saw, oh, great. So I come back. So I'm changing things in the routine.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm testing to see if it works. Like, for example, today, 10 o'clock doesn't work to go to the supermarket because it's full.
Yeah. And so you can play with stuff, you know, because what's the point of saying that's my grocery shopping time if it's the most stressful time and the most time-consuming time? So you'll find a little sweet spot where you go, oh, there's no one here. Got place all to myself.
Yeah, and last week I just took some time off from everything, when I say off, it's not that I went to some places, right? It's off.
You just switched off.
Yeah, switch off. Yeah, so I'm still going through a process right now.
So what's going on with you at the moment?
Yeah, just processing. Yeah, just processing. And last week was really good. I was processing a lot of things. And then I went into the call. And was good because my vibration went higher last week, you know. And yeah, so this week I took off and I didn't think about many things. However, you know, I feel like doing everything new at this point in time.
Yeah.
And yeah, because I just found out my son has processing disorder.
Yeah.
So now I have to do a lot of things with him.
Yeah.
And it was very hard for me, even though I knew something was different. And then I had like a lead yesterday. Yeah, so she was just a reflection of me, so it was really interesting.
Not your ideal client at the moment, or,
yes.
Or maybe the perfect client at the moment.
Oh no, I would be happy to work with her, but you know, she was just in the same state, you know, like sad and all those kind of things, you know. And I felt, oh, you know, and then I said, yes, okay, I need to raise my vibration to get the right people, you know. Yeah, so a lot of things clicked and put together, and now I'm this crossroads, you know, like, oh, really, what would be easier for me right now? I don't know.
Yeah, time to reprioritize everything. And
yeah.
Probably a good time to be doing this module, actually.
Yes. So I'm gonna go to do this module to schedule everything. Yeah, so I'm in the crossroads, and then I thought part-time job as well. And then I think about the money as well. So, but those part-time jobs pay so, you know, not that much. And I said, it's valuable my time, you know. I think about that.
Yeah.
You know, like, because business is a long-term thing. It's not just like that. I know that.
And especially when your son really needs you at the moment. So that's a decision to make. Like,
yeah. Well, our routine, you know, it's just like I'm going to have to accept one day to take him to do some occupational therapy.
Yeah.
But, and the rest, you know, like it's going to be the same schedule. She's going to continue going to the same school. Yeah. So, but now it's just, and then I was even thinking, oh, maybe I could coach other moms, you know, that had the same problem. But I need to understand a little bit more. You know, it's a new world for me, a completely new world for me. And it's not that bad, you know. Like I was doing the grid, you know, like, oh, he's fine, you know, has worse things out there.
That's good.
Yeah. So
so you did a focus wheel on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, I need to do all the time.
Yeah. And, you know, Layla would be a good person to speak to because obviously she's got lots of experience with that. And also I was just going to add, you know, the client you had the other day, we do always attract clients. Like, it's funny. It's like, oh, hi, you're just showing up here for me to work on myself. Thanks.
Yes,
You know, it feels like that sometimes. But it's also, it's a nice opportunity because you get to heal yourself a little bit, you know, in that. So, yeah, you know, you don't want to constantly deal, like long-term, that's not your ideal client. You want to work with women who are in a better place and more in an empowered state and just help them really move forward. But right now, it's like, thank you for showing up because I get to, you know, I get to kind of Because
yeah, I was
everything we do
so
for them, we're
really
doing
like,
for
oh
us.
gosh, yeah, exactly how I feel at the moment, you know.
Yeah. Jen, focus wheel was in module 3. 3 or 4, or the start of 4, because 3, hang on, I'll have to look it up. It was either module 3 or 4, focus wheel.
Yeah, and I'm doing...
Actually, until we came down to Adelaide, Mary.
Nah, it's definitely in the program. Let me look it up. Hang on, I'm just going to get the slides up. Sorry, Sammy, you can keep talking if you like.
Yeah, no, I found a new way to do my grid, and it saved me time, and it's really good actually in the shower.
Ooh.
You know, because it has like the glass and has the smoke.
Yes.
So
nice.
I just go like that while I'm having a shower and write down, and then it's done.
That's good. And you get to just stand there and really enjoy.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm looking for the focus wheel now. Oh, it wasn't in that one.
Yeah, so it's where I'm at the moment. So I'm just raising my vibration, you know, and get out of the house and
yeah, go to the basics.
Yeah, go back to the basics to raise my vibration again.
And that's important, you know. You just need to remember the basics are always highest priority, because if you stop doing those, then you drop out of alignment and everything gets harder, and so you don't want that.
Yeah, but for another side, it's good because I have more knowledge. When you have more knowledge, you have more power.
Yes, exactly. And you know, it's like it's a process you're going through. It's like a grieving process, I guess. You know, you kind of knew there was something going on, but being told that, yep, that's what it is, you know, it's like a definitive moment. Yes. So I just had a quick look for the focus wheel. I couldn't find it right then, but I thought it was in one of the modules. And if you've seen it, haven't you, Jen? Because you obviously weren't in Adelaide. Focus wheel.
I don't remember. You've mentioned it on another call, but I don't recall it. So maybe I'll watch the Facebook Lives again. And
I'll have another look for it. Sorry, Sammy, to be distracted with that. But if it's not in the modules, then I'll just do a Facebook Live or something, or a video straight into the group and take you all through it. I'm just having one of those blank moments.
Yeah, so that's it. And I just want to say thank you for last week. That was really good. I love hearing you guys talk and raise the vibration. So it was really good.
And so you've been looking at your golden goose stuff, and what's come up as most important for you, do you think?
Well, my yoga class, you know, already doing it, but now at least 3 times a week, it's a must.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna got that once a month, going out with my girlfriends, because I like to be by myself, but I feel energy. I like to be, you know, with other people as well.
Nice.
What else? Let me see here. It's not here. I wrote down some things, but I wanted to work with the schedule as well.
Yeah. And you can flip back and forth. Just don't multitask too much.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that. And you'll get the joke when you listen to module 2. Also, I mentioned it at the start of the call, so I just want to say it again for your benefit. With that Protect the Golden Goose, we look at what lifts us up, what raises our vibe and keeps us in alignment. But you also need to, you know, we talk about the rules of the game, like what are the boundaries and what are the limits, and having a think about, you know, what are the things that drain you, outside influences usually mainly, and you know, what are the limits that you're willing to go to, like, so that you don't get drained. So remember to look at that side of things as well, and just have some, you know, it's just something you can have in the back of your mind. So it's a guideline to kind of keep you on track.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, darling, and we're all here for you. So
Thank you.
Keep reaching out. We'll keep an eye on you too.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. I want to hear from the rest of you. So who else has got some ideas on batching? Opening and closing work routines. Jen, let's go.
Then Linda had it. We both had our
Linda,
hands up.
I know. I'm like,
We're keeners.
Good.
So not even a few months ago, I've done a lot of this similar work with Jo Bendel in her Wildly Successful Society.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. And but most recently, I did a 25-hour work week, and I basically put all of my business activities into a 25-hour dream week map. And it was so helpful to know that, okay, on this day, I'm going to be doing content, writing content. On this day, at these times, I'm going to speak to clients, and et cetera, et cetera. And this day I'm going to plan social media. Now, I haven't stuck to too closely since the move has started, because things are leaking in, which is fine. I accept that. But at least I have it on a Google Calendar. And so I can have it viewing or not, showing or not, so that if I ever need a reminder, I can just go, okay, here's some free time, or here's a non-thing to do with life. What am I supposed to be doing for my business? And I click on it. I'm like, oh, it's this. It also balances, because I have my two days a week that I'm working at the bank, my contract job. So now I know that I can do all these business activities in a 25-hour grouping, so that when I no longer have that contract job in Canada, I can be like, oh, look, I can work 25 hours a week.
Perfect.
And that's it.
I love it.
It's been really freeing.
Yeah, I use a Google Calendar too. And I have two different ones that are color code, but I just use one for like reminders and one for other stuff. But I should actually put my ideal week into one as well. I kind of just know it now and I just do it, but it's probably time for me to retweak it, given that I'm taking you all through it anyway. And what I was going to say with it was that one of the key things, I'm sure you're doing it, is set up your acuity, so that it's only obviously the times that you've allocated for clients. Do you use acuity for booking client sessions? Hang on.
I do. And actually, lately, because of the move, also I've blocked off acuity times, the week before, the week after our apartment move, and I've also blocked off 10 days or 2 weeks before and after the big move, the country move, because you need that time to just but I have not yet planned that within the 25-hour work week, so I will.
Yeah. So I mean, even Sharon said the other day she uses her acuity like a calendar. I have it linked to my Google Calendar, and when someone books an appointment, it puts it in my Google Calendar. So I actually only look at my Google Calendar, and I block out my times in there. So I do have my business, like when I say I don't have my ideal week in there, I do have my business planning time blocked out. I do have my yoga time booked out, because I don't want clients to book into those sessions, right? But in acuity, I've got limited, like these are my available appointment times, but then in my Google Calendar, if I need extra blocks of time, sometimes, if I'm in Bali or whatever, I just book it all in my Google Calendar and book myself out there. I guess 6, one half dozen the other. But I find the acuity calendar itself, like to use as a calendar, I find it a little bit messy. So I like doing it in Google. Yeah, but maybe it's just a personal preference thing. Cool. And have you thought about rituals for when you sit down? And it doesn't have to be like sorry to interrupt. It doesn't have to be like a whole work day. It can literally be, I'm going to sit down and, just do this one thing, but to kind of switch in and out.
I love that idea. And actually, I have my Tingsha sitting behind me on my shelf right there. So I thought, I'll just use those. So it's perfect. I love that idea. So I'm going to do that to check in. I find there's a lot of Facebook bleed, scrolling bleed, mobile bleed, especially the pages loading is an internet connectivity issue here in the region. And it goes into this quote unquote resolving host spinning wheel of, I'm tracking every movement of your internet use. That's what's happening, really. So yeah, I get that, and I think I will. Like sometimes I get up, I load a page, I get up and pour myself a cup of tea, and I come back and the page is loaded. That's
wow,
how
that's very
long it
frustrating.
takes. It's just it's not, and it's not all the time. It's just it's completely random, and it doesn't have to do with use or traffic. So I love the idea of virtual though, and I'm going to use that to really define this is my marketing time. This is my, even if I don't have client booking time. Oh, the other thing I have, which other people may love, is I have a list of what I call Zen tasks. Mm-hmm. So it's just sort of things that if I have that free time, or if, for example, I've got, a 3-hour block of client bookings, and if it's not full, then I can look at a Zen task and I'll be like, oh, what's something that I need to do, or that isn't timely or urgent, that can be used for that time, that needs to get done but doesn't take up that other valuable space in my business.
I call that filling the gaps of time. And it's like when I was in workshops, when I used to run some just on time management, but I stopped doing it because people would show up and they wouldn't get the alignment stuff. And then I was like, oh no, it just doesn't feel right, because you guys are just going to go like cram more in. I used to do a demo, with the rocks and pebbles in a vase. I used to get like a big vase up and put all the pebbles in first, all the little bit of it, and then the rocks wouldn't fit, and then I'd take it all out and I'd put the big rocks in first. Actually, I used juggling balls. It wasn't really rocks. I'd put all the big chunky stuff in and then just fill all the gaps, and it all fitted. So it's a really good visual for people, that. And what else? Oh, how are you feeling about doing a Pareto's analysis? Have you got some thoughts and ideas on how you're going to do it?
Oh, the Pareto's analysis.
Some people it can feel really daunting.
Yeah, it seems really daunting right now, because we're coming into the 2 weeks before the apartment move, and I'm like,
oh yeah, don't do it now. But you can start planning how you're going to do it. And
exactly.
And start thinking about, what data am I going to need? Like, if I'm going to do it well, is there extra data I can kind of start getting organized or plan to do? And you can make a little to-do list, and it'll be a little bit of a project that you do.
Yeah, I think I do like the idea of doing it, and something that's a little bit broader but not quite as specific as that is Joe Bendel has the hourly. You do spend 1 day tracking. So you set an alarm on your phone every hour, and you write down what you worked on the previous hour to know exactly where your time is going. Mm-hmm. So that feels manageable as a first step, and then applying the Pareto principle exercise to that afterwards.
Yeah,
I think.
Awesome. I wish Lee was on the call, because I was like, wow, look at her go. Some people just love, like, they dive straight in, and she's full on into it, doing her little spreadsheet and whatever. So yeah, I want to hear a little bit more from her about that. I might see if I can convince her to do a Facebook Live to talk about it and talk us through it, because it's really cool. But it's just a matter of tracking your time, and it doesn't have to be like perfect, but it's going to be a hell of a lot better than just guessing, and even like knowing what's generating income. You'll have a feel for it. So yeah, you can just do it at that level, and even that will make a huge difference, because it's 20/80, just if you've even only got it half right, and tweak it, you're going to do really well. But the more accurate you are with it, the more, then the benefit's going to increase. So especially with knowing what's really working, which we should all be doing in our businesses anyway. And then if we marry it up against the time spent on those things and adjust that accordingly, it's the same as I was saying with my Facebook ads budget. Like, I've got the same amount of money, but I'm just allocating it differently, and I doubled my results. And that's exactly what we're going to do with our time here. So well worth the effort. So Karen is struggling to get her head around Pareto's. Karen, can you unmute yourself? Or you not really able where you are? No. Are you there, Karen? She's gone off to get a cup of tea. All right, let me know when you're back. Hang on, I'll put it in the chat box. and we'll talk about it. Oh, she's raised her hand. She's doing something. Try to push. Hang on, let me try for you. Okay, can I unmute you? No, I can't unmute you on this end. I don't know why it does that sometimes. You need to do it. If you're on your phone, just tap it and you'll see the little mute, unmute down the bottom. No. All right. Whenever you get it, just yell out. Linda, meanwhile, let's talk to Linda, who's been patiently waiting. Layla's been very patiently waiting.
There we go. We touched on this yesterday when I was talking to Lika. I've just started getting some more information, working alongside someone who's talking a lot about like cyclic energy, like my energy of my cycle, and how I can become a lot more aware of that.
You talk about Stasha?
No, this is actually
someone
local who I've just started meeting up with.
Nice.
Local sort of mastermind get together type thing. So yeah, I'm trying to incorporate that into my batching, so that, because I know for me I've got 1 week of the month where I can just like cross off that list like crazy, and then other weeks of the month where I'm just like, oh no, like I want to plan it, or I want to systemize a little bit, and that sort of thing. So using those weeks to do the planning and systemization, so that then in the weeks where I've got that action taking external energy, and utilizing those a bit more. Because essentially my energy isn't the same each week.
No, so it's an ideal month.
Yeah.
I keep putting it on a full shore.
And that's totally cool. I have a question. So what happens if your period's not regular?
Irregular in the sense of sometimes like 4 weeks,
like
6 weeks.
Yeah. So what if you're, sometimes you're 4 weeks, sometimes you're 5 weeks or whatever, and you try to plan ahead. What do you do then?
Yeah. It's a great question. I don't know.
Because I'm really lazy with tracking my period, right? And
I have been too. So.
And I don't really, I do get 2 days, maybe 3 max, where my energy drops. And I'm aware that I have certain times where I'm a bit more like creative and all of that. And I thought, okay, I'll get into it, I'll do it properly. And then I went, oh shit, this cycle actually wasn't. And I thought, yeah, I'm really regular, but I'm so lazy about it that I don't even track it. And I thought, yeah, I'm right on 28 days. And then it was like, oh, but this time I'm not. And I thought, now what do I do? I don't actually know what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just adapt and adjust.
Yeah, because I thought if I plan my launches around it, 1 week makes a big difference in a launch. Like 1 week I can be like, la, 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 and the next week it's like, cart's closing,
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like if you get that wrong, you can really screw up. So, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, if you find out the answer, let us know.
Yeah, but because I certainly love love to batch when I can. I haven't been disciplined enough yet to squeeze it. I felt like I've had to squeeze it into my 4 hours or that sort of thing that I might have for the day. So
yeah.
God bless.
And just it's like everything else, as you're doing it, how in we're doing it in Magnetic Money, I just gave them a task where I said, have a little, I called an affirmation, which I shouldn't have, because now they're all crazy going off doing affirmations, but have a little something you say to reinforce how well this is working, right? To reinforce it to yourself. So it's not an affirmation where you're saying something that you don't really believe, because we all know that doesn't work. Well, you should all know that doesn't work by now. But it's actually just something that you say to reinforce that this is really, it is changing and it is working, and look at me, I'm so much more organized, and how much time this is giving me and how much brain space. And, so have a little something that you can say to kind of keep reinforcing it to yourself, so it becomes easier and easier, and you actually, connect with it more powerfully. So that would really help. Karen, I'm doing that with my groceries. Instead of just writing a shopping list and shopping, I'm beginning to sort exactly what products we use on a week. Yeah. and buying to that and applying it to financials as well, but in a positive way. Yeah, cool. Like I kind of shop to meals. I'm like, oh, what do I want to cook? Instead of just what are we out of? Well, what do I want to cook? And these days, with mainly just Martin and I in the house, I don't buy more than 2 meals worth at a time, because I used to get so frustrated with throwing fruit and veg away that had gone off, and it's just so wasteful. So yeah, I just buy 2 meals ahead, and then, we always cook too much, have leftovers, or we'll eat out, and it just, so 2 meals suddenly has lasted us a week. It's really weird. It's weird how much less food you need when there isn't a bunch of kids in the house. Just amazing. Karen, did you want to have a quick talk about Pareto's? Do you want me to just explain it again, or do you have a specific... Okay. Oh, hey, I can hear you. I did for a moment. Where are you? Oh, you've got patchy internet. Yeah, Jen's doing the let's eat what's in the pantry thing. Oh, Karen, you're breaking up a lot, honey. I'm sorry. Can't hear you at all, pretty much. Just let me know in the chat box whether you want me to just explain it again, or you have like a more specific question, because I don't want to just talk. If you're going, yeah, I know that. That's not what I want to know. Just let me know in the chat box. And meanwhile, I'll speak to Lila.
I feel like I don't really have a huge amount to say, which is why I'm just listening in, because I feel a bit overwhelmed by this.
Do you?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's break it down.
Well, and look, I've got a client coming at 11:30, so I'm not going to keep you too long, but
no.
I guess, it's really interesting to think about it, because I don't even know what the aspects of my business are. Like, I started writing down this morning, okay, so there's time that is allocated to one-to-one, there's time that's allocated to group, and then I actually need to start doing some business strategy, which is more around where do I get clients from, because I'm realizing that I can waste an awful lot of time on Facebook and it really isn't paying off much at all. But I think that if I was thinking, I know what I need to do. I need to devise a workshop called opening the space within, and take it to different yoga studios and say, I'd like to do this at your yoga studio, and that would be a great way to connect to people. So things like that. Like, I know that if I look at where people come to retreats from, it's often from one-day workshops that I've done. They've been perfect. One of the best ways of engaging people, and they're easy to do. So it made me think about that.
Yeah. So I've given you 4 tasks, but I've also said, some of these are a bit of a project. So you're not meant to just dive in and try and do them all at once. So you're looking at, okay, so start with just doing a bit of a Pareto's. And like I said, you can just, to begin with, just do it based on sort of your intuition or what you already know. So if that's your starting point, that's okay. So, all those things you just mentioned, group time, one-on-one time, promo, going out networking, finding yoga studios, make a list of all of those and, look at which ones you do the best, and you've already got a rough idea. And if you can get a bit more specific, that's great. And maybe just start by putting an ideal week together based around that.
Yes, that's what I've actually started doing, is drawing up a calendar and saying, okay, so because of Acuity, I know exactly when my client work is. I know when my group work is. And then it's actually really useful, because I do waste a lot of time, and I think I waste a lot of it checking Facebook.
Yeah, and you can just say, hey, I have half hour of Facebook time in the morning and half hour in the afternoon, and that's it.
Exactly, and that is what I'm doing. Like, I've got much tighter with it, but I find in the afternoons and evening, if I don't have something allocated, then it's very easy to just waste time checking my email, checking Facebook. So I think it's a great idea to set up a calendar and actually commit myself to, this is the time that I'm going to be writing notes about my clients, or this is the time that I'm going to be researching yoga studios, for example. I think I just need to sit down and think about business strategy. One of the things you said about taking yourself out on a Friday afternoon to a nice cafe and just doing business strategy, I'm going to start doing that. Because I actually start thinking about, so what is the way forward? How am I going to build my email list? How am I going to drive traffic to my website? Because at the moment, I think my email list is growing one a week,
Mm.
which is not enough.
Yeah.
So I do need to do something.
And having that business planning time and space away from your usual environment is really powerful, because you can just ignore everything else. It's suddenly so easy to do. Whereas when you're sitting at your normal desk, you will, suddenly you're in email, suddenly you're in Facebook, if you're not really structured. So definitely do that. And yeah, make a planning date with yourself. And then that can also be your ongoing review date. And, when you do your business strategy, and block that time in your calendar. And the other thing that I really suggest, from what I'm hearing, is that you have a defined end time to your work day, and that you decide whether Facebook is part of your work time or part of your social time, but that you have a defined deadline and a ritual to say, that's it, I'm done for the day.
Yeah. You know where it all falls down for me is that I read books on my iPad. All my books are electronic and they're on the iPad, and then I get Facebook notifications while I'm reading and I can't resist. So that's part of the problem. So I'm going to
next lesson, it'll be turn off all notifications. Nothing's allowed to ping, beep, or pop up. Nothing.
Yeah.
And there are apps you can use to block. Just like you're doing with Acuity, there is apps. Let us know in the chat box, guys, if you know of some. There are apps you can use that actually block certain websites at certain times. So you can go, this is my reading and research time, I'm going to block Facebook.
Yeah.
Which makes it, you can still get on if you really want to, but you have to jump through so many hoops that you won't bother.
Yeah, and I don't know how my laptop seems to have, I don't know how to set it up really. I need to explore that, because it alerts me every time an email comes in and alerts me a message, and it's like, it's so distracting. Talk about digital distraction. It's just awful.
Yeah, all that's got to go.
So what I actually need is, I need some really protected time to go and have ideas. That's really what it is. It's like, I'm at the stage in my business where I need to have ideas about how to connect with people, and it's not Facebook. It's definitely
no. You need time for deep work, and I might have mentioned it already. There's a book that Sharon Stanford actually put me onto called Deep Work by, I think it's Cal Newport, and he talks about that, the importance of deep work and how to create space for it. So he's got a few good little strategies, but it just reconnects you to how important it is to give yourself that time. So yeah, number one thing, block that time out and take yourself to whatever environment is most conducive to you being in that space. It's very important stuff.
So I'm going to set this up.
So you know exactly what to do. You're not overwhelmed. You know what to do. You just have to do it.
The Pareto's analysis feels very overwhelming. To do it in 15-minute blocks, it's just so not my thing. That even making up the calendar, I just looked at Lee's thing and I thought, oh my God, I couldn't even be. To make that is amazing.
So a simple way of doing the Pareto's analysis, don't even track the reason it's important to track your time is because if you just say, these are the things I do, you're going to leave out twice as many that you actually do spend your time on, right? We don't even realize what we spend our time on. So it's actually just also good to see what it is we actually do all day long and get all that down.
So how's this? What I've done is I've made a calendar that is kind of on an hourly basis, and I'll try and what I've done on an hourly basis, because I just think 15-minutely.
I don't think I suggested 15 minutes.
Oh, didn't you?
No. That was Lee. That's why I'm like, oh my God, she's doing 15-minute increments and she's loving it. Yeah, she's a freak.
So I'm going to do an hourly one. And I mean, I already know where most of my stuff comes from. It comes from the one-to-one clients. But the thing is, I don't want more one-to-one clients. I need to actually be generating more capacity for the retreats. And so that's where I need to start having ideas. And Jen, I want to come and read everything on your website about public speaking, because I think I just need to get leverage, get to a bigger audience, and be, what I should really be doing is sitting down and writing what it is that I want to talk about. What are the issues that I want to talk about to people? Because if I get some idea around that, what really turns me on, then I'll know where I want to go to talk about it. It's like one step, next step, next step.
Exactly.
Layla, anytime you want to talk or have a call, you can just even have a call about it. We'll just have a 45-minute chat about how to refine what exactly you want to say. That's what's happening with a lot of my new leads, is the conversation becomes more about refining what they want to say and how they want to say it.
Yes, that feels really important. And I mean, I know that I know I've got some good stuff. I just need to have some time to settle and think about it, because I'm doing it at the moment with Tori on video and trying to pull out the bits that are really important. And it's just, yeah, it's daunting.
Jen will sort you out.
Yeah. But I think, Miriam, this structure that you're giving is going to be a good start for me. Like I recognized that I really needed. I got really excited about it, and then felt really daunted. And I was just like, we'll see where it goes. It'll be all right.
Yeah, do an hourly track. Do it. Just even do it. You do it for 1 week, because it is important to kind of know where you're at the moment, and it feels exciting and empowering then to make changes. Yeah. And, you know, then when you match it up and go, oh, well, actually, this is the stuff that's bringing me the business I want. And again, you can tweak it and go, yeah, well, this stuff brings me one-on-one clients, but I don't want to increase that. I want to increase the stuff that brings me retreat clients. And then starting to make those shifts and then putting your calendar together and organizing your week around it, you go, that's it. Like, I'm already doing all this stuff. I'm just going to reallocate how much time I give it all to get the outcome and the result I want, and to increase the output. So just quickly for your benefit, Karen, Pareto's principle, super simply, it's all about that of all the benefit you get, whether it's income or joy or whatever, it's only 20% of what you do that actually gives you 80% of the result. So we want to identify what is that 20% that really packs the punch, so that we can give that more airtime, you know, allocate more time to it, and then we can reduce some of the other 80% stuff, because most of it isn't really giving us much benefit.
And I'm sorry, I need to say
yeah,
bye.
no, that's okay. We're going to close it up in a sec anyway. Thank you. Mwah. See you, honey. Are you starting to get it now, Karen? Because I really want you to be able to understand it. Let us know. And does anybody else have any other questions or comments? I'm a bit excited. I'm very excited, because this is really powerful stuff, and we'll get into it. Like, I'm actually going to put it into the lesson and make sure we do it in the Q&A call next week. Remember to do the aligned intention process, right? Because, and even things like just the heart coherence. Remember to keep doing those little things that get you back in alignment. And next week, we're going to be talking about the Pomodoro method as one of the main things. And, you know, it's a really good thing to throw into that little break between Pomodoros as well, because it always pulls you back into alignment. So we're bringing, again, we're bringing the power of alignment with the really kick-ass practical strategies so that you get maximum bang for your buck. Fabulous. Well, that was fun. Thank you so much for getting up, Jennifer. You are amazing. I look forward to, you know, when you're back in Canada and I'm no longer responsible for your lack of sleep.
It's true. I'll stay up now until, I usually get tired about 10:30 a.m. It's just in about 5 hours, and I'll have a call with IVA, but it's okay.
You can have a nap.
Yeah, and it's only, I think there's only next week, right? And then we have the bonus call in September.
Yeah, then we have the bonus call, then we go into the metamorphosis, which will be 1 call a month. So, yay.
Right.
Yeah, because
that'll be a different time. And once
the
I'm back
pace
in
into
Canada,
masterclass isn't as hectic. Like it's more a background of support. You know, it's not like call every week. And it's also not just a call every week at the moment. It's a lesson and a call every week. So it's like, yeah,
that's good. I'm looking forward to it. I've started reviewing, like re-listening to Module 2, Module 3, just to refresh, like, oh, what's changed since I first listened to them, and what's really interesting to see. I'm like, oh yeah, I'd like to do that. And so now I can start bringing those elements back in.
That's awesome. Awesome, thanks. Awesome. All right, everybody, I shall tear myself away from you. See you in the Facebook group, and keep asking questions, keep sharing, keep catching up with your buddies, and just, you know, like just put times in your calendar to get through all of this. It's a little bit of a project, and it's all good. You don't have to do it all in one hit, but do make, at whatever level you can, you know, have a go at it, because it's going to make a big difference, even if you just make a little tweak. Awesome. And Linda's looking forward to cooking another batch of rice. We want to see a selfie of you cooking a batch of rice. I did it last night, and I've got like a pot of rice like this.
So much rice, yeah, and soup. And
It
soup.
lasts forever.
I've got stacks of soup, which was a saviour when I was sick as well.
Yeah. See,
It's just this,
just you always want to have backup meals in the freezer.
and yeah, it is. I mean, it does err on that side of multitasking. Tummy hurts. It does err on that side of sort of multitasking because I use all the scraps from the leftovers from dinner into the crock pot to make soup overnight.
No, but that's good. You're in the kitchen already. You may as well, that's batching.
Yeah.
That's not multitasking, that's batching because you're cooking. It's all cooking, right? So, yeah, awesome. And then it's in the freezer, and if you need it, it's there. And that's also then a golden goose activity. So I always have some meals in the freezer for those days where it's just not going to happen. Yay! Awesome. All right.